It's been a while since I've done I guess you can say a commentary type of video, right? Um, of course, let's get let's address the elephant in the room, of course, here. And I've been kind of like paying attention to granted, of course, this video is going to be up when it's already kind of been resolved and everything, but hey, you have to spread the info. Some people, I do have a few Tectone fans and in my subscribers, of course, and then some who are not, of course. But at the end of the day, right, we can all say for a fact, Tectone, not the brightest tool in the shed. All right, let's be honest here. Pretty dumb, very irrational, emotional, probably because of the testosterone stuff that he has been taking recently, of course. But he does seem to make things be like, I guess he's just a bit of a was it prima donna or so when it comes to certain situations. When when I saw the whole thing of it being coming out or so, I was like, okay, what's going on this time? Let's analyze. Let's take a look at some of the stuff, right? So apparently recently, the past 2 days or so, well, depending when this video comes up, of course, um, there was a message leaked out of saying, let me see here. So if you guys haven't been noticing, right, it says right here, new content creator testing servers. Unreleased content in the CC testing servers is allowed and to be shown to explain to the public. The textual and visual content being sent but must first be assessed and authorized by MiHoYo. Doing it without being assessed by MiHoYo may lead to the CC partnership being cancelled. For example, you cannot say CO plus free-to-play weapon, character X is outright terrible. Of course, this person, well, whoever screenshotted this anyways, I should say, was the one that kind of kicked the bucket, basically, to start this whole entire thing, right? Which is on Braxophone's, Braxophone's channel, as you can see right here. It literally goes and explains detail. Also, as well, Win to Lose Gaming also did a video as well on top of that. Haven't seen it, of course, but I assume it also addresses the same situation. It's funny because this was on his video. Of course, he explains everything at the end of the day, right? So when you go up to Tectone's specific video, there's the same one, right? But they had an example and a little bit more after the character X is outright terrible. And it says right here, but would be better off talking about the pros, which is the positives, and the cons, and the negatives of a character and provide recommendations for the character. Where I had a problem with Tectone was saying basically, oh, you can't talk bad about the character. You can only say positive things. Tectone was basically taking a spin in a narrative. That's why he was a bit confused. That's why his audiences were literally against him. But he was trying to convince them that, like, oh, we're not allowed to talk negative about the character. We can only say positive things about the character. Which, number one, is incorrect, as you can see here on the actual thing itself. Literally says that you can talk about the pros and the cons, which is what everyone is basically talking about, right? And also, Win to Lose Gaming and, of course, Braxophone, they have a good traction record of relying good information, talking about the pros, talking about the cons about the character, what recommendations of teams, should you pull for Eidolon, should you pull for the weapons, and they have a good track record, right? They have a good track record of explaining things in the context of what it needs to be, right? Nothing too crazy, nothing too bad, right? That's probably the reason why MiHoYo or / Hoyoverse reached out to them specifically and be like, hey, can you would you like to be in a more specific circle, right? A content creator circle, right? Being partnership with them to be early access to a beta server. And the only reason why they did it, right, is just what Braxophone has said earlier, right, is that they want to beat the leakers, because this was all talking about the leakers. Because sometimes leakers can say very misinformation and all this other stuff, and then it can always affect the sales of the thing, right? You have to look at it at a business perspective, right? If someone is talking bad shit about your product, right, and hasn't been released yet, right, of course it's going to affect you and your sales overall. You're trying to sell something but somebody decided to leak, I don't know, documents, blueprints, or anything about it, or like, oh, this character could be bad and all this other stuff. That's the only reason why they decided to do this specific thing, It's funny because a lot of the content creators jumped super early onto this and started bandwagging and hating and everything. And then of course Braxophone made a video, and then Winterless Gaming also did a video as well explaining the whole situation. Now at the end of the day, right, of course, as you can tell, Braxophone's channel specifically and Winterlose Gaming's channel are all specifically mainly for guides, right? They're all guides, right? They're all specifically, they go in depth, in detail of everything of what the character is, what the character does, what's the negatives and all this other stuff, right? Etc, 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 right? Now, I did see the MTash where he was overreacting, about the whole situation, right? Of like, oh, you can't allow to watch this and blah, 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 blah. Of course, Hoyoverse MiHoyo has miscommunication in the past. They haven't really relied all the information out on the field, and everything like that, right? I do have to say, like, the one thing is that, this is the problem where you don't want to rely on your content being a single, like, I guess you could say franchise or a company, right? Because they can easily pull the plug on these games, and then what are you going to do afterwards? You've only been making Hoyoverse content, right? Like only Genshin and only Honkai Star Rail, right? And you haven't really made other stuff, right? You haven't really delved out and explored making other different types of content, right? At the end of the day, right? This is why when you make a YouTube channel, you don't want to surround your channel around one single series or one single company or one single game, right? Because at the end of the day, they can pull the plug really easily. So my harsh criticism is to, grow up, MTash. You should have been making variety content. Hey, tough shit, right? You gotta make, and even then, I saw the video, right? A lot of his audiences love him for him. He may not be my type of content creator, because I don't really watch much Honkai or Genshin content creators, in my personal opinion. But like, you have people that love you, okay? They come watch you specifically. They want to support you. Doesn't matter what you fucking play. They love you for you, okay? Get that through your head, all right? I think people runs on emotions. Do let them go a little bit crazy sometimes. And yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just relying on this information to you all, of course. Don't think everything what you see firsthand. Wait until we hear more information. Also, Tecton needs to lay off a little bit on jumping to conclusions. That's all I have to say. And also, especially like talking to Asmongold and not relying the entire information, because he doesn't know, right? At the end of the day, he knows Braxophone. He could have private message, Braxophone on this information. He could have, because nobody would know that he private messaged him, right? I know that somebody in his chat stream was like, you can just message him, and then he just exploded in a fury of rage for no apparent reason. Makes no sense, right? Even though he says like he cares about freedom of speech, right? But then bans the individual or so just because he was going against him, right? That's why it's a little bit weird, Hey, I have to call out, the behavior sometimes, It's right as white, right? I'm not saying he's, I'm not slandering or anything like that, like he did, with another content creator, right? But like at the end of the day, you gotta correct behaviors when it needs to be. Big or small, doesn't matter. I come here and just rely on the information that, hey, you should probably go look at the Braxophone video about Hoyoverse. Also, Winterlose Gaming, they're just there, to make guides, okay? And they explain everything of what's been happening in the background. And also at the end of the day, there is a certain clip where Braxophone does say this.
Release, but that needs approval. Ultimately, there is no difference. Now, to be fair to the creators that were not invited for this special opportunity, I understand why you're mad about it. And truthfully, I feel guilty. I feel like survivor's guilt, almost. Like, why? The fact that I am allowed to do this and other people aren't makes me feel bad. because I have friends like Sevi. Sevi, to my knowledge, does not have the server creators talk. And when I posted my video, she was like, hey, what's this about? Like, are we allowed to post media server early? I was like, nope, this is a special thing. And I thought she would have access to it. And I feel bad about that because Sevi and I are in the exact same niche. And despite what some people might think about competition and losing views, I want success for my friends and I want success for myself as well. Me posting this video is doing what everyone else would have done, though. You can ask Mtash, he would have also posted a video like this if he had early access. I'm sure Tectone would have as well. I'm sure Vulcan would have. I'm sure almost any creator, given the opportunity to look at a character early, would have made a post about that character early. Because
look, I understand that he wants his friends to succeed, him and his friends succeed at the end of the day. But let's be honest here. This is a business, okay? You have your own business, which is your channel. You have at least more than like 100K views, right? On a lot of these videos. So, you know, this isn't like, oh, I want to make my friends to succeed and I want to succeed kind of type of thing. No, it's a business at the end of the day, you know? You're trying to get one leg up in the competition, you know? So, hey, you know, it's just, it is what it is. And then they asked you and Win to Lose Gaming because you guys have a pretty big vocal voice in the community of these specific characters, right? It's just, it is what it is, right? So, hey, anyone else would have done it except explain, you know, he explained it himself. Anyone would have done it, okay? It's just good business at the end of the day. So, hey, I'm here just to talk about it, but yeah, overall, I feel like I don't know, it sounds like they're a bit salty, at least for most of these content creators, right? Because at the end of the day, Tectone just reacts to stuff. He's not really much of a guide maker, right? Mtaj, not really much of a guide maker either. More of a theory crafter, kind of in this sort of direction. Like compared to like Brax, and then compared to I Win to Lose Gaming, and then, you know, and then all the other ones who make guides, right? They're all focused mostly on guide stuff. These individual, well, most of these content creators are not mostly like that. So, anyways, you know, just don't be influenced by your favorite influencer. Take it as a grain of salt, you know, and wait until there's more detail that comes out, because that screenshot literally set the whole place ablaze. And then there was this other screenshot that showed, hey, the example is you can do pros and you can do cons, right? Which means you can talk about negative about the character and the positives about the character, right? You just can't slander it. That's it. But anyways, that's just my own opinion. What do you guys think? You know, leave a comment down below. You know, tell me what you guys think. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. I rarely do commentary videos, but when I do, it's just usually stuff when it comes to like this sort of situation that needs more clarification, because some people aren't really super bright. I'm going to be honest with you. They're not really bright. So I'm usually here to try to clarify and go in a very like neutral standing. And yeah, anyways, thank you for watching for the video, and I'll catch you on the next time. Peace.
I'm going to address this first and foremost. When I'm correcting out a behavior that needs to be corrected or addressed or fixed or changed, this is not me causing drama.